All right, hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of Facebook Live, where we're doing a live lighting critique today of the Academy of Animated Art lighting students. We're going to take a look at the work that was submitted within the last 24 hours or so. Again, I'm trying to stream these every Monday and Wednesday for you guys to take a look at, just to kind of get a sneak peek of what's going on. I know a lot of you are also going through the lighting challenge with Poker Puss here, so hopefully the feedback I provide for our students can also help you on your way as well. And then you can just see a little bit about what's going on. So I'm going to be checking the comments window over in Facebook. If you have any questions there, just feel free to add them into the comments. I won't be super checking them because I've only, as this is episode 3 of me being on vacation, basically. So I'm in a vacation house. And so I don't have my normal computer with me. I'm on my laptop. I am in this bedroom because it's the only place I could get some quiet. And so that's what's going on. So I will check the other window and check in on comments as they come in. But hopefully you guys see what's going on. So very cool stuff we've got today. We have a few submissions. We have Aaron, who did this, who's working on Poker Puss. And actually we have a couple of paint overs. So these are just, because we still have, let's see, today is the 11th. So we still have a few weeks before this is due. And so what a lot of our students are doing, both Aaron and Kleber, are just doing paint overs, kind of mocking it up, getting an idea of the layout, the composition, how they're going to create mood, direct the viewer's eye, and sculpt visual shaping all through the light. So I think that's a really good place to be at right now. Both went in and started doing some lighting and shader work, and then took a step back and going to do some paint overs. One other submission is from Kilds from the last challenge, kind of combining a couple of our assets. We've got our dark-skinned woman with our Harlem set, and just kind of making some streaky car goodness. So let's jump in with these paint overs, because I think these are really topical with what you guys are working on right now. So both, like, let's start with Kilds here. So I'm sorry, let's start with Aaron. I apologize. So the thing that I really like about this one is I love the colors in this background here. I think they're really pretty. And then I do like, judging from, he had some reference of like Hellboy with these kind of orange lights on him, and it was pretty cool. My question is, though, as I am looking at this now, I almost wonder, kind of hesitating before I say this, I almost wonder if we are forcing that orange light in there a little bit. Just because it's now creating a very diverse, dynamic color system, like color scheme, that I think we can simplify a bit. And I'm wondering, because like the pinks and reds and magentas and greens on the background are very cohesive in their color palette. They feel like a collective color palette. But then once we get in the foreground, the red actually looks pretty good, but the orange light is much more saturated than those. And maybe it's just a matter of taking down the saturation on that. Let's just try that real quick. Yeah, let's just sample the color. Like that. Let's take down. Let's just do it this way. So just looking at the face, we'll do the whole body. So just kind of looking at this, I'm wondering if by taking down just kind of those hue values from there, we can't create a little bit more of a cohesive image. And I think that helps. Let's bring back some of the red in here. There. But yeah, like I think desaturating the character a little bit really, really helps. I think that taking down the saturation on this even more. Maybe shifting it. And really, it's a lot of just shifting it just off that like pure orange color, and maybe shifting a little more red into it so it matches up with some of those surroundings. And I think that this might feel a little better than the original, like very saturated image. I think just pulling back on that will help that out a lot. And you asked about positioning, if there's anything you can do about that. Everything looks good to me. The one thing that I would consider doing in terms of the positioning is this tentacle here. It would be nice to read the entire head. And it would just be a matter of like nudging that one out a little more that way. And just so we can read the entire silhouette of the head. That would be my only suggestion there. Because I think the rest, I think compositionally the rest of it works out pretty well. What I would also like to see is, it's cool that you're getting these like specular hits on the gold. I would almost rather it be in here than back there. Like it's nice that you're getting good shaping back there, but I would take that down by like 50% and increase, and then like almost shift some of that value here. So that because the table really is our focal point. So you really want that to sparkle. You want all the major action to be happening there, and everything else is just kind of secondary to hint at a larger surrounding environment and not necessarily give it away entirely. Additionally, it would be nice to read the cards a little bit more. Also to watch out for like these, like this slashing light coming through here. I just like, I don't really feel that anywhere else than other than like here on this card too. Like right in here as well. And then I would darken this tentacle as we're going down here. So the base of it's a little bit darker. So it's like you want the tentacles to come up emerging from the darkness. And then that way it'll really, A, help create visual shaping top to bottom, and B, help us focus up more upward. So kind of invert the light to dark scheme of the tentacles here. So darker as we get to the top. Other than that, I feel like it's coming together really well. We may eventually need to tone down. I love that we're getting like that nice bokeh effect here on that foreground blur. I think that's looking really nice. It's just the brights might be a little bit too hot, and it might be distracting us away from that there. But yeah, other than that, it's looking pretty good. And then it would be maybe, the only other thing I think, maybe just getting a little bit like kick light here on the character's head. Like taking this light down again in saturation and probably in value too a little bit. And then just getting a little kick light on there to make him just like really shape up really nicely. But overall, I feel like this is looking really good. I think you're well on your way. So let's check, make sure. Hey, Clever, go good. You're here. Great. Okay, cool. You're going live. I was just about to do yours. So I think, zooming in, my favorite part about your paint over setup is right here. Like this color scheme is super pretty. It's so cool. Like by doing this, I love doing these paint overs. I love doing these lighting designs before you start, because it gives you a better understanding of the scene and a better understanding of the color palette that you're going for. And using these swatches, I mean, you're not going to use all of them, but it's really nice. It's really fun to see how you've like kind of dialed this in. So yeah, I think that's working out really well. In terms of the paint over, you know, you talked about how this is your first one, you're new to this, totally understandable, because it's not about creating a great painting. It's about creating, you know, like blueprints for beautiful buildings are pretty, you know, ho-hum, like they're pretty boring. But I actually really love blueprints of beautiful buildings, but that's not the exciting part. My point is that that's the plan for the cool thing. So that don't feel bad about that at all. Love your reference. I think they're both from Aquaman. Aquaman was those DC movies are always like, they've got a really super saturated look, and the images that you chose are really good, but just watch out for them, because they can lead you astray a little bit. But okay, so looking at what you're having here in your paint over versus some of this reference stuff, the biggest thing with underwater is, and you're kind of starting to do it, is like this layering from foreground to background of dark values. So darker darks in the foreground and stepping up as you go back into space. You've obviously got that with some, because it's just like there's a lot of sediment in the water. It's like the aerial perspective on steroids. It's just super, super fast. It goes back. The biggest thing that I would like to see more of is using inherent, like, because you're doing a good job of creating some objects here in the foreground as framing elements, but they're not working as that right now as they're a little bit brighter. So what you really want to do is you want to darken these here and this kind of steering wheel here. And then I think these are bubbles, and because those will be clear, but it's really all about like just kind of creating a area, like a window like right in here to the character. I think that this can go a lot stronger. Let me just, maybe I can just grab this. Actually, let me do that real quick. I think just gonna play around with some of this real quick. I think overall you can push like the overall image a lot brighter. And then you can take this middle section here, push that, push the, just call them yellows for now. Expand that out to here. I think you can push that whole area. In fact, let me just do it this way. I think you push that whole area warmer. More reds. Yeah, like somewhere in here. Even brighter. Because then what we can do is use those warmer values to really kind of center us in here in the middle. And then again, we'll darken around the edges. So by darkening around these edges, and like this is pretty crude, obviously, but like that'll really help us kind of focus in here on the center. And then additionally, you can play up, since we're getting the warmer light in here, what you can do then is, let's see if I got it. You play up the kind of this hue and let's just go to about that level. The hue and the saturation on the octopus, you can really push that value too. And same way I was just talking about with the last one, you can, it's a little more, but you can play up that like magenta color on the skin, and I think that would work out really well. But I think this is looking really great. And I do like that you've, from your previous version, you've minimized that background, and I think that's looking really good. So again, from the beginning there to like this, I think that's a better spot for you to go into. Hop over here, see if you have any questions. Yeah, type in over here if you've got any questions. I think that would, but I think like I said, just before and after again. I think that'll really help you out, because that magenta tone on the character will really pop off from the background. And same thing here, as I mentioned, like I said, you want to go darker to lighter. So darker all underneath this table. Like maybe just some ambient occlusion down there to darken the tentacles, and then just like allow them to emerge and be like, ooh. I love octopuses, by the way. It is octopuses and not octopi. I learned that because octopus is let me get this right. Octopi is the plural of Latin, and octopus is actually it has Greek origin, so it has the plural es. I don't know if anybody cares about that. I realized I just read that in a book recently, and I found that interesting. All right, cool. Thanks. Clever. Hard to feel that inside of water the same. Yeah. This light source inside the water is an interesting take on it. So I think you should really lean into it and allow it to push some orange yellow light into that space, and that'll allow the warmth of the character to really pop out. So that'll be really good. All right, cool. So let's move on to our last submission, which is Kilds. And with this one, I wanted to show you all I think I just deleted something. Reference. There we go. Yeah, so this one I actually need. So I wanted to show you an example of this. So Kjeld said that he noticed in the reference, and this is really, really good observation, is that the bright lights in the blur tend to be a little bit sharper than the midtone values. And he's like, how do I replicate that? Excellent question. Because one thing that happens is, let me go into, actually, let me stop sharing the screen. There we go. Oh, I have my nuke session here. Let me stop sharing the screen and share my nuke screen here for just 1 second. Okay. Oh, nope. Almost just ended this meeting for everyone. Okay. So you've got this background, and we want to create a blur like we were seeing. Let's go ahead and pull that in. So you want to create a blur like this in this scene. And what ends up happening is, like, if I just blur it, and you guys know that you can hit this 2 and blur it only in the X direction. If I just blur it, a lot of these bright points get like really kind of muddy. And that is something that that happens quite a bit. And one of the ways that we can trick that, and I'll show you this, is we can play with the gamma before and after the blur. But the first thing I want to talk about is it's nice that you included these plates because this gives us a little bit of an insight into one of the issues that you're having with matching the brighter one. So this has got a lot of haze overall, right? And what is happening is we're not actually seeing any real dark, like super dark values. So if I took this, and just for the sake, and just because I know that we're going to blur it up a lot, if I just take this and increase the black point, that's a little much, but like let's say to about right there, and let's just say right there, and it allows me to create a lot more darkness in the scene overall, and we can even push these brighter, right? Let's say we're looking at somewhere in here. So now we have a higher contrast scene, more brightness, more glowiness. Okay, and again, but if I took this and just kind of blurred it, we'd lose some of the value in there. And the way that you combat that is you'll actually take, I'll do this as gamma correction. So gamma operator is just a mathematical curve pulling things down. So it's a little bit non-destructive in that it's just taking pixel values and doing a thing to them. So in this example, we're going to take the gamma value and we're going to decrease it by 0.5. And then what we're going to do is we're going to blur this up. And after the blur, we're going to take an inverted value, so a value of 2, and put it back on. So let's look at what that does without that initial. So what it does is it allows us to preserve some of those highlight areas and some of the brighter areas, and you can see it even more here. It's the same amount of blur, all the same calculations. It's like I said, totally non-destructive. What it does is it takes these brighter areas and just preserves them a little bit. Let's go and push that. And now that we're seeing this blur, like those bright areas are very, very bright. So we can push the brights in the original plate up a little bit. And let's say we just want them to be like that. And then from here we can also adjust the dark points to be really whatever we want them to be. And now, because ultimately it does not matter what this original image looks like. What matters is what we're seeing out at the end of the day and how much that matches what we want, right? And by having these gammas in there will really help us maintain some of those bright values in that. So I hope that helps you there. So that was one question there. Let me go back to sharing my Photoshop screen. And we'll take a look at the rest of it. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, so taking a look at, so you've got 2 submissions, 2 uses of it. I think this is with, I can't remember which one was which, now that I'm looking at them. Let's just take a look at them. So you're getting more reflection in the foreground of this. I think that those can go a little bit brighter. In the foreground of the car body itself, I should say. Wheel rotations looking good. I think you can go even more because you wouldn't even see, when a car is going, like you don't see the tires spinning really at all. Like it looks like this, right? It's just obliterated. So I think you can go more with the blur. In terms of the background, yeah, we're losing some of the brights in here. So it'd be good to use that gamma trick in there. I want to feel more of the red on the car. I want to feel that connection to the surrounding space a little bit more. Say even, I think this background actually works a little bit better. It's not, because this one's just like super red. And I think that this one, I think that this one might feel a little bit better. Let's just play around with some of the values here real quick, just to get an idea of something. Hold on. Yeah, let's do this. Let me just take this foreground character. Just add some more red to her. Just crank her up a little bit. And then I realize sometimes, I apologize, when I'm working, I go silent. So hopefully you're enjoying watching me, because I just kind of forget to talk. But by adding, do that again. By adding that just like little bit of more red warmth to the car, it really kind of helps tie her into it a little bit more, as opposed to being kind of a complementary value. And then again, like I really feel like we can glow this up, like the image as a whole, especially in this foreground, like make it kind of feel a little bit more magical and special. And just do that, copy, paste, filter, blur. Yeah. Build this up a little bit. Then we can, also the framing is a little, that's fine. I just feel like we should move her more up and over a little bit more, just because she feels like shifted off to the left. And like, if I know we're trying to get like the headlights in the scene, but it just, if she feels a little bit lopsided there to the left. Try reframing it just one time with her more towards the center and see if you like that, because that'll actually like push her forward. So then she will be in like because then she'll be in the middle of this V, and her head can kind of exist right there, and maybe right here, because that'll be right in the center of the frame. And I think that will actually work out better, because right now, like if I kind of squint the image, I just feel myself being led here, and there's no payoff other than this highlight on the car. So I think that would be a good choice as well. Yeah, let's take a look at this versus the original. Yeah, I think that'll help out a lot. So a little more glow, more blurriness, getting some more red value on the character in the front, allowing her to get a little bit brighter too, and then repositioning her over here. I think that's our ticket for the next step. So yeah, and then blur the tires out a little bit more. Yeah, cool stuff. Good stuff all around, everybody. Let me hop over into the chat window just one more time to make sure we're not missing anything. Oh, hello, Adrian Lee. It's good to see you as well. And that's it for today. So I'm going to go ahead and save this out. You'll find us on our YouTube channel. You can find us with Academy of Animated Art. We have all of our video critiques for the week. I post every one Monday through Friday over there, so you can see everything that's going on as well. You know, we talked a little bit about Jean-Claude Van Damme this week. We talked a lot. Check out the ones, is that yesterday? Oh no, Tuesday and Wednesday we had a ton of submissions. We had like 17 submissions each day, so a lot of good stuff going on there. So uh, I am first for my students, for the Academy of Animated Art students. I will hopefully be checking in this weekend, but like I said, with some family, we're going to go kayaking, go to the beach, maybe pick some apples, do as many social different distance activities as we can. But so I'm looking forward to that. And but yeah, I'm here if you guys need anything. I will be back on Monday for another video. Until then, guys. All right, happy lighting, everybody.